Lekha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmiyanu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'lit hilah Lekha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechul v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha Zev Maseh b'machashavat chila Lekha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam v'simcha u'b'tzala toch emunei am segula boi chala boi chala Lekha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Welcome to MIZMOR Monthly for the month of Tevet. I'm Cantor Sidney Ezer, and accompanying me on piano is my friend and colleague Asher Farber. The melody you just heard is a Sephardic melody, a Spanish-Portuguese melody for Lekha Dodi. And the month of Tevet, actually the 17th of Tevet, according to history, in 1728, the congregation She'erit Yisrael, the first New York synagogue, erected its first building in Lower Manhattan. She'erit Yisrael is a Spanish-Portuguese synagogue, so as part of MIZMOR Monthly this month, we're going to share a few melodies in the Spanish-Portuguese tradition, especially melodies that were shared by Cantor Abraham Lopez Cardozo, born in Amsterdam, Holland, the great-grandson of the chief rabbi of the Sephardic congregation and the son of Joseph Lopez Cardozo. In 1939, he was appointed by Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands to be the rabbi of the Sephardic congregation in Paramaribo, capital of Suriname. And in 1945, he joined the clergy of the historic Spanish and Portuguese synagogue She'erit Yisrael in New York, which was founded in 1654. He served the congregation for 50 years. And we are going to present a lot of the congregational, or a lot of the melodies from the Spanish-Portuguese tradition, some of which were shared and sung by Rabbi Chazan Abraham Lopez Cardozo at Congregation Sherit Yisrael. The next melody we're going to do is a Yigdal. This is also a Spanish-Portuguese tradition, text by Daniel ben Yehuda, the late 14th century.
Yigdal Elohim Achai Ve'yishtabach Nimtza Be'net El Be'tziyuto Echad Be'en Yachid Ki Yichudo Nelam v'gam ein sof le'achduto. Ein lo debut haguf ve'eino guf lo naroch elav kedushato. Kadmon lechol davar asher nivra rishon ve'ein reshit lereshito metim yechayel berov chasdo Baruch Adei ad Shem Tehilato Ele Shelosh Esrei Leikarim Hein Hem Yesod Datil V'Torato Torah Moshe Emet Unevuato Baruch Adei ad Shem Tehilato. We did Lekha Dodi, we did Yigdal. Those are melodies and liturgy, part of the Friday night service. Imagine yourself in Friday night in a Spanish-Portuguese synagogue. And now we're going to share some melodies with regards to Birkat HaMazon, after eating. Tzur Mishelo, well, here's a very famous Zemer, also based on the first three blessings of Birkat HaMazon for the grace after meals, a Spanish-Portuguese melody, Tzur Mishelo. Tzur Mishelo achanu barechu emunai savanu ve'otarnu kid Adonai. Hazan et olamo roeinu avinu achalnu et lachmo ve'yeno shatinu al ken nodel ishmo hallelujah b'finu amarnu anidu ein kadosh Badonai Tzur Mishelo achanu barechu emunai
savanu vehotaru kidvar Adonai. Here is a melody, a text that's the Sephardim add in the Birkat Hamazon, Mah She'akhalnu. Mah She'akhalnu, may what we have eaten to be to our satisfaction, and what we have drunk be for healing, and what we have left over be for a blessing. Here is a melody for Mah She'akhalnu. Listen for something here, a little ditty that you may recognize out of context. Mah She'akhalnu yiyeh lesova, Ulma sheshatinu yiyeh lirfua, Umma shehotarnu yiyeh livracha, Kedichtiv vayiten lifneihem. Mah She'akhalnu yiyeh lesova, Umma sheshatinu yiyeh lirfua, Umma shehotarnu yiyeh livracha, Kedichtiv vayiten lifneihem. Did you get that little hint there? It sounds to us, the first half of that melody sound very much like "We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas." Coincidental, totally. It's not intentional. It's just like there's a lot of melodies that sound like Hatikva that are, because you have a very similar scale. That this is just, we thought it's December, it's the month of Tevet, but it's the month of December, so it's a little funny aside there as well. Here we're going to present another interesting Sephardic aspect of Birkat Hamazon. In the Spanish-Portuguese tradition, you have Bendigamos. This is the Ladino version of the Birkat Hamazon. The melody you will recognize is Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, that we sing for, very famous for Parshat Bashalach, the miracle of the crossing of the sea. This is a melody for Spanish-Portuguese tradition. Bendigamos al Altísimo, al Señor que nos crió. Démosle agradecimiento por los bienes que nos dio. Alabado sea su santo nombre, porque siempre nos ha apiado. Load al Señor que es bueno, que para siempre es su merced. Bendigamos al Altísimo por su ley primeramente, que liga a nuestra raza con el cielo continuamente. Alabado sea su santo nombre, porque siempre nos ha apiado. Load al Señor que es bueno, que para siempre es su merced. Bendigamos al Altísimo por el pan segundamente, y también por los manjares que comimos juntamente, pues comimos y bebimos alegremente. Su merced nunca nos faltó. Load al Señor que es bueno, que para siempre es su merced.
Bendita sea la casa esta, el hogar de su presencia, donde guardamos su fiesta con alegría y permanencia. Alabado sea su santo nombre, porque siempre nos ha apiadó. Loada al Señor, que es bueno, que para siempre su merced. Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov, Ki Leolam Chasdo. Az yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et hashira hazot Ladonai vayomeru lemor, and so on. You'll recognize again the melody for the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. We are going to take a break from the Spanish-Portuguese tradition at this point. We're going to introduce some melodies for Hallel. Tevet, the month of Tevet, usually on Rosh Chodesh, we do only a half Hallel. There are certain psalms that are omitted because we don't want to have a full Hallel. But when Hanukkah falls on the Rosh Chodesh Tevet, we actually have a full Hallel. It's the only month of the year that we actually can recite a full Hallel, because normally we do not do a full Hallel on Rosh Chodesh. So we're going to do some melodies from psalms that are from the psalms we don't normally sing for Rosh Chodesh. Yisrael Batach Badonai, Ezra Maginam Hu. We're going to sing two melodies, one by Cantor Saul Zim, a very prominent chazan now, and then the second melody by Rameh Shlomo Karlebach, who I think you probably are more familiar with, the more familiar melody. Yisrael, Yisrael, Betach, Betach, Badonai, Ezram, Ezram, Ezram Umaginamhu, Ezram, Ezram, Ezram Umaginamhu. You repeat after me. Beit Aharon, Bitchu, Bitchu, Badonai, Ezram, Ezram, Ezram Umaginamhu, Ezram, Ezram, Ezram Umaginamhu. Yirei, Yirei Adonai, Bitchu, Bitchu, Badonai, Ezram, Ezram, Ezram Umaginamhu, Ezram, Ezram, Ezram Umaginamhu. Yisrael, Yisrael, Betach Badonai, Ezram Umaginamhu. Yisrael, Yisrael, Betach Badonai, Ezram Umaginamhu. Yisrael, 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 Betach Badonai. Yisrael, 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 Ezram Umaginamhu. Yisrael, 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 Betach Badonai. Yisrael, 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 Ezram Umaginamhu. Yisrael, Yisrael, Betach Badonai, Ezram Umaginamhu. Yisrael, Yisrael, Betach Badonai, Ezram umaginam hu. Yisrael, 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 betach Badonai. Yisrael, 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 Ezram umaginam hu. Yisrael, 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 betach Badonai. Yisrael, 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 Ezra Maginahu, one last time. Yisrael, 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 betach Badonai. Yisrael, 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 Ezra Maginahu. Yisrael, 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 betach Badonai. Yisrael, 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 Ezra Maginam ho. One of the events that we mark in Tevet is the fast day for the 10th of Tevet. In 588 BC, on the 10th of Tevet, Nebuchadnezzar, his armies besieged Jerusalem, which is now commemorated as a fast day. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came. He, all his host, against Jerusalem, and camped against it, and they built a siege wall against it round about. The text from the second book of Kings, chapter 25, verse 1. Music by Yaakov Talmi. Vayhi Vishnat tishit lemalcho Bahodesh Ha'asiri be'asor lachodesh ba Nebuchadnezzar melech Bavel hu v'chol chelo al Yerushalayim v'yichan aleha v'yivnu aleha dayek saviv. Yaakov Talmi is a music teacher, a composer, a choir conductor. He arranged songs and melodies intended for the holidays throughout the year and the versions belonging to all communities in Israel. And he also wrote his own melodies like the ones we're showing you today. The second text this is a kina for the 10th of Tevet. It's an excerpt from a kina, a liturgical dirge, specifically for the month of Tevet. In the 10th month, a coyote growls at my nation. On the 10th day of the month, it devours every trace of them. A leopard preying upon their cities. Their cities were burned in the fire of their hardships. Adonai, in your might, hold back the evildoers, shamed in the face of your favorable sign, the Holy One of Israel, the Lord of hosts. Bahodesh Ha'asiri. Bahodesh Ha'asiri ze'ev aravot Alaminohem Be'asor lachodesh tarof toraf Kol
na meshaked al areihem. Areihem sarefu va'esh pirvot telahot. Rum Adonai be'uzecha zedim lehash'or. Bosh yevoshu ba'asotecha imanu letova'ot. Kedosh Yisrael Adonai Tzevaot. Here's going back to Hallel, some melodies that we could probably use for Tevet, if considering the 10th of Tevet in the solemnness of the month. Some melodies like this one, Afafuni, an unknown melody. It was shared by Rabbi Friedberg, Rabbi Emeritus of Beth Congregation, who heard it from Velvel Pasternak, who was a collector of Jewish music. The text is from Psalm 116, verses 1 to 11. This is a melody that some members of Beth Congregation have shared, and it's something we'd like to share with you today. Afafuni. Afafuni chevlei mavet umetzarei shehol metzaruni tzara v'yagon emtza ubeshem Adonai ekra. Tzara v'yagon emtza ubeshem ekra. An Adonai Hilatzta Nafshi Chanun Adonai v'tzadik Eloheinu v'rachem merachem Shomer b'tahim Adonai Deloti v'li Yehoshia Shuvi nafshi nimnuchaychi Ki Adonai gamal alaychi Ki Hilatzta Nafshi mimavet Et Eini min dima Et Eini min dima Et ragli midechi Et Eini min dima Et ragli midechi Et alech livnei Adonai be'atzot ha'chayim Hemanti ki adaber Ani timehod Hemanti ki adaber
אני עניתי מאוד, אני עמדתי בחופזי, כל האדם כוזב. You've rescued my soul from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling. This is also part of the same psalm. Ki Hilatzta Nafshi mimavet, et eini min dim'a, et ragli midechi. Verse 8 from Psalm 116. This is a melody from the Vishnat Chassidim. Ki Hilatzta Nafshi, Nafshi mimavet, et eini min dim'a, et ragli midechi. Ki Hilatzta Nafshi, Nafshi mimavet, et eini min dim'a, et ragli midechi. He'emanti ki adaber ani aniti me'od, ani amarti bechofzi kol ha'adam kozev. I have trusted when I speak. I am very afflicted. I said in my haste, all men are hypocritical. A melody by Cantor Moshe Taube, a Polish Jew who survived the Holocaust. Thanks to Oskar Schindler. He led services at Squirrel Hills Congregation Beth Shalom and Young People's Synagogue for decades. He died last year. He was 93 years old. This is his melody for He'emanti. He'emanti ki adaber ani aniti meod. He'emanti ki adaber ani aniti meod. Ani amati bechofzi, ani amati bechofzi, ani amati bechofzi, kol ha'adam kozev. He'emanti ki adaber ani aniti meod. He'emanti ki adaber ani aniti meod.
אני אמרתי בחופזי, אני אמרתי בחופזי, אני אמרתי בחופזי, כל האדם כוזב. כל האדם כוזב.
Going back to some melodies for Hallel in the Spanish-Portuguese tradition. This is a melody traditionally used only for Sukkot, and I figured we would use this, even though Tevet doesn't have Sukkot. Hanukkah falls, obviously the Rosh Chodesh is still Hanukkah, and Hanukkah is considered to be a second Sukkot. So we thought we would use this melody, Hallelu Et Adonai, Psalm 117, followed by another Spanish-Portuguese melody for Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov, which is probably maybe familiar, at least the first half of it may be familiar to some of you. Here's first of all, Hallelu Et Adonai. Hallelu Et Adonai kol goyim, Shabechu kol haumim, ki gavar aleinu chasto, bemet Adonai leolam, hallelujah. Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov, Ki leolam chasto, Yomarna Yisrael, Ki leolam chasto, Yomeruna Vedaron, Ki leolam chasto, Yomeruna Yirei Adonai, Ki leolam chasto. Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov, Ki leolam chasto. While we're on Ki leolam chasto, remember back when we're going to sing the melody for Mah She'akhalnu. Rabbi Abraham Lopez Cardozo put this melody, which we said from Barukh Haba, he applies it also to Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov. So we'll sing it to you as well here. Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov, Ki leolam chasdo, Yomar na Yisrael, Ki leolam chasdo, Yomru na Beit Aaron, Ki leolam chasdo, Yomru na yirei Adonai, Ki leolam chasdo. Hopefully, we can do it in Tevet. Hopefully, people won't think of it as we're doing it because of Christmas, but we're doing it for another reason, for the Spanish-Portuguese tradition. Okay, Barukh Haba, also part of the Hallel. Psalm 118, verses 26 to 29. Here's a melody from the Spanish-Portuguese tradition. As you listen, as you hear this melody, there's a little snippet that you may recognize. Look out for it. Baruch Haba B'Shem Adonai Berachnuchem Mi Beit Adonai El Adonai Vayhi Yisrucha Bavotim Arganot HaMizbeach Eliata Ve'odeka Elohai Aromemeka Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov Ki leolam chasdo Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov Ki leolam chasdo. Did you recognize anything in there? We're going to sing part of it. Here we go again. Yisrucha bavotim arkanot hamizbeach Eliata ve'odeka Elohai aromemeka. La 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 la. That first part there, a little variation for the second part. There it again. There's that Shirat Hayam melody that we heard earlier on for the Bendigamos, for the Birkat Hamazon and Ladino. Again, we can use this. Interesting how the melody is there as well. Ein Keloheinu, a Spanish-Portuguese melody for Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Adonai, Ein Keloheinu, Ein Moshiachnu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Adonai, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Moshiachnu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonai, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshiachnu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonai, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshiachnu. Ata Eloheinu, Ata Adonai, Ata Malkeinu, Ata Moshienu. Thank you very much for joining us today for MIZMOR Monthly for the month of Tevet. We're going to conclude with a melody for Adon Olam, Reverend David De Sola, who composed, or actually who collected a series of melodies from the Spanish-Portuguese tradition. And this is one that he wrote himself, and it is still used. I think it's spread well known among Ashkenazi and Sephardic congregations today. Adon Olam, Hashem Malach, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'nasa Yechev Tzochu kol Azazai Melech Shemo Nikra Deyacharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Imloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Ove Vehu Yeh B'ti Para Vehu Echad Bein Sheni Lehamshilo Leachbira Belireishit Belitachlit Velo haos Veha Misra Vehu Eli Vechai Goali Vetzur Chevli Beit Sarah Vehu Nisi Umanos Li Menat Kosi Yom Ekra Beyado Avkid Ruchi Meti Shan Beha'ira Be'im Ruchi Geviati Adonai li Pelo Ir velo ira. Chodesh Tov u'Mevorach.